Also, I want to touch on this topic. Maybe I want you to read about this. When it comes to the strategy of which phone is better, the Apple or the iPhone, I guess, or the not the Apple or the iPhone, excuse me, the Android or the Apple phone. Looks like Android has won.
Why do you say that?
Well, because the cobalt that they use inside the iPhone is mined by African slaves in the Congo.
That'd be okay. Let me
Yeah,
go ahead
yeah.
and
Here,
let me
I
go
want you
ahead.
guys to look at this video really quick. Now, this video I'm showing you is actually of child labor. Here, about 40,000 children that are forced into slavery here in the Congo to make to mine the metals that are in your iPhone.
The Democratic Republic of Congo, the DRC, with over 100 million people. The DRC has accused Apple of using blood minerals taken from conflict zones in the country. The DRC wants to stop. They have issued a formal cease and desist order to Apple about this. 33 minerals found in DRC go into making, I said this, I'm sorry, 3 minerals found in DRC go into making phones: tantalum, tin, and tungsten. They call these like the 3 T's. They pretty much go into making your iPhone. They have these people over here. Basically, they're forced. A lot of it's forced labor. Maybe not all of it's forced labor,
No,
but
it's
a lot of it's forced
forced labor.
labor. They have basically this is being funded as a war. Rwanda has a group that they sent down there called they call them M23. They basically work out of the Kiva region, which is like eastern kind of Congo area, eastern Congo area. They work out of
Yeah.
that region right there, where basically they're going back and forth from Rwanda over to Congo, and they're stealing people from Rwanda, bringing them over to Congo and stealing materials and going back into Rwanda to kind of sell them. This stuff is people don't know that Congo is actually a rich, mineral rich area. They should be wealthy.
It has the most, actually, it has the most, it's the most mineral rich area in Africa, I believe. And I mean, in 2019, Apple and Google were named in a lawsuit over Congolese child combat or cobalt mining deaths. Because it says it was a landmark legal case has been launched against the world's largest tech. I think they just beat that case just now, a couple days ago. They said the children were killed or maimed while mining for cobalt used to power smartphones, laptops, electric cars, and the Guardian, the Guardians reveals Apple, Google, Dell, Microsoft, and Tesla have been named in the lawsuit as defendants, and I
Yeah.
believe they just beat the lawsuit where they actually said it was okay. Do
You
you have that
got
one? Yeah,
I know there's a group out of Europe that this is a European group who are basically they say they're on the ground there. They're overseeing the mines, and they're saying that they're not complicit in this. We talk about blood diamonds down in South Africa and other places like that originally. I don't think other places in Africa. We were talking about blood diamonds. They know these mines are being mined by child labor and a lot of it's
yes,
forced slave labor, and they're still buying this material because
and
this is
yes, and
some of
it's
the
it. Actually, on my apology, here it is. On March, it was on March 5th this year. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia rules 3-0 in favor of Apple, Microsoft, and other tech companies over allegations of child labor in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's cobalt mining operation. The court said the companies are not liable for the knowingly benefiting from aiding and abetting the cruel and brutal use of young children in the Democratic Republic of Congo to mine cobalt. The court said that buying the cobalt in the global supply chain does not amount to participation in the ventures under federal law protecting children.
They said that with this whole thing has been going on, you got countries like Rwanda, which we know we've seen where Rwanda's been before. They were in
Yeah.
civil war themselves. I'm sure that Rwanda's probably getting weapons from other countries to keep this conflict going. They said that over 15 million people have died during this conflict. I mean, this country's been at consistent civil war. This is what they do. They go and make sure to keep the country at war. They don't want to stabilize it because they understand the price of this stuff. But if they can keep this material not so more under the Congolese rule underneath their thumb, this country could be a mineral rich country. They
Yeah.
could be, the next quasi Russia.
And America don't care. They don't care. They don't care how you get it. It's all about how, if you got it. Because
Exactly.
they're like, hey, we know that slave children are mining these mines so you can have your Apple iPhone every year. But hey,
it's not it's
long as I don't
EV.
see, long as I don't have to see it.
It's electric vehicles. It's probably a bunch of chips and things like that we use for a lot of different things. You have to really look at it like that. It's like America could go about things in a much smarter manner than what we do. You know, I understand we can't get embroiled in every conflict because these people you're dealing with, at the end of the day, you're still dealing with quasi warlords and things like that going on there. Because if there's billions of dollars at stake, there's gonna be some people that are willing to get their hands dirty to make it happen. But
Yeah.
this is like we've talked about sweatshops, we've talked about blood diamonds, but we're not talking about. I've heard, you know, little bits and pieces, but people are not discussing this enough for really what's going on
No,
there.
not enough.
These children are really in these mines. I mean, you got little 5,
Supported,
6,
funded
7,
by
8-year-old
American,
kids.
funded by American companies.
Absolutely.
Remember that. You know, they never ended slavery. They just made it so you could take them and if you put somebody in jail, you can use them as a slave. It's in the Constitution. And now they have it where they got American companies paying for labor slavery in Africa. So as you reflect on that, it makes you think you need to look at yourselves and look at your phones and be like, yo, what cost is this coming from?
Because this is coming from the cost of your people. The people who I understand that we are Black Americans, but at the end of the day, this is where we come from. This is where a lot of us were brought from, was Africa. They've kept this continent in consistent turmoil because they understand that the minerals there, they can enrich themselves with. They don't feel like they need to give anything back. But at the same time, it's going to take African countries to stand up for themselves as well, too, and kind of coalesce to kind of bring this thing to a halt, because there's so much potential in these countries. You look at the Democratic Republic of Congo, people wouldn't believe that country could be one of the wealthiest countries in the world right now. But at the end of the day, you know, they got trillions of dollars worth of this stuff in the ground. Trillions.
Yeah. Well, hey, let us know what you think in the comments. Like, listen, subscribe, and share. This is Uncommon Courtesy.